jomfo forobi aye yo a ete yase mema mansaya teneka na wa janga beto ano na wa yo gwanko bia Sheranka onipa odene hoto ewurade so na ochenani medeye meboni didahame gwara denede memane so atire amansanina efite oye owora Firise ayowora na cherene nani obite se ono oyetete name.
Just put your hands together for Honorable Nkrabea Effa-Dartey. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, I'm singing this song as I always do, just to praise the name of Almighty God. Ma chenga wurade anim wabere na suase na wati empaibo na odemasi obotanso odemenaya tintimpo semere sheaseda na dia jomasema no Jomfo forobi aye yo a ete yase mema mansaya teneka na wa janga beto ano na wa yo gwanko bia Sheranka onipa odene hoto ewurade so na ochenani medeye meboni didahame gwara denede memane so atire amansanina efite oye owora firise ayowora na cherene nani obite se ono oyetete name.
Just put your hands together.
I think that all of us, journalists, civil society actors, and practicing lawyers must look at this kind of Ofori-Atta matter from a perspective that takes away the fact that he is in my party or that he's not in my party. As Professor Jampo is saying, those in Ofori-Atta's party are saying something, those outside of Ofori-Atta's party are saying something. Now, I'm sad because, and I always like to go back to history. In 1979, Guzi Augustus Tano was one of those young students who championed the revolution. He was one of those who called for the blood to flow at Teshi for military generals who are taking loans of $3,000, etc., etc. 20 years later, 2000, Joseph Anthony Eidu, stalwart of the NDC, at the National Theatre, proclaimed that Augustus Guzi Tano had taken money from governments to do a cassava factory that he has blown and that he ought to have been in jail instead of leading a reform party 20 years down the line. So these things are very important. I sat in a trotro in 1993 on the day that Kwesi Botwe had given a budget, 1993. And Kwesi Botwe's budget had increased everything by 60% across board. I was staying in Labadi in those days, so we spoke a lot of Ga. When I sat in the trotro, the mate asked me in Ga, "You are the educated people. If I get Kwesi Botwe, I'll kill him." And I said, "Hey, you kill him?" He said, "Yes. And I said, "Wow." And that was a sentiment in the trotro as we rode to a place in Labadi, very obscure, called Abo Mikojo Sadi. So I was listening. I just...
You've always been a rich child. You've always been rich. So
if you go there, I live there.
Where lies this trotro?
But you don't know. I lived in Kojo Sadi, Abo. Everybody who knows me knows that. Yes. So let's move on. Now, finance ministers have always taken this situation. Dr. Kwesi Botwe was the most hated person in Ghana. In fact, after he left the NDC government, and Jerry Rawlings and the people somehow had to have Kwesi Botwe exiting because of the image of a finance minister who was just delivering very difficult times to Ghanaians. When the MPP came to power in 2017, and maybe Hassan knows, there were many MPP people who wanted the blood of Setekwe because he was the bad one. And it was Ken Ofori-Atta who said that he has inherited Setekwe. Yes, the situation was bad, but he really doesn't see how what Setekwe has done that we're going to prosecute him. Many were those who were angry with Ofori-Atta, that he's gone there, he's following what Setekwe is doing, and they are doing business together. All of that was said. In 2017 and 2018...
Within your party?
Yes, within the party.
Within your party?
Yes, yes, within the MPP.
Because I know, as a matter of fact, that Setekwe appeared before Iyoko.
Yes, he appeared
several times.
Yes,
Even
but the prosecution.
No.
The prosecution.
It's a different thing. Talk like a lawyer. It's a different thing. Appearing before Iyoko doesn't translate into prosecution.
Yes, fair enough.
No. Please.
I'm saying that prosecution.
You can have your opinions.
I don't understand.
You can't understand.
Exactly.
Because you are saying that Said was to be prosecuted. It's not true. He appeared. He was investigated. And he was cleared.
He's saying that
don't say that.
Standard that you can, and we lawyers know, you can lead your client to law enforcement. They will investigate today, tomorrow, the next can take a long time. But in the end, they will show. They will say that we're sorry, leave.
Okay, so
there's nothing to.
There's nothing to show that he was prosecuted. There's nothing.
Yeah. But I'm saying that people went to
don't give that narrative
that you have inherited him.
It's wrong.
Where are the files? Where is that Mary?
It's wrong.
Oh, that's
how can you say
you can have your time when I
No.
I'm disposing of
your narrative
that are known to me.
Towards creating in the minds of people that Seth was to be prosecuted.
No,
but Ken Ofori-Atta interviewed for him.
No,
it's wrong.
Opportunity to speak.
Okay,
it's wrong.
No, it's not wrong. But I'm disposing of matters that are within my knowledge. So let me move on. Ken Ofori-Atta was said by the World Bank to be the Africa's Finance Minister of the Year, 2017 and 2018. This same Ken Ofori-Atta. So we have come into, and that's why I bring civil society and the practicing lawyers in. We have come to receive a new epoch and dimension of criminal justice in Ghana since January 2025. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, I don't know. But the new epoch that we have received is that the head of the criminal justice system, the Learned Attorney General, appointed under Article 88, has taken a different turn from all Attorney Generals of the Fourth Republic. He has come forward to talk about prosecution. Some say it's good, some say it's bad, the jury is out there. Now, in the things that the Honorable Dominic Ayine has been talking about, we've heard him speak about Kwabena Duboahim. We've heard him speak about Chairman Wontumi. Dominic Ayine, in the beginnings of his press conference, never said anything about Ken Ofori-Atta. Never. He was talking about Kwabena Duboahim. He comes to do press conferences, and then sometimes questions are asked. Now, he came and said that when the whole extradition between OSP and bring me letter and I'll bring you letter, when all of those things started, with, of course, political pressure, that Ken Ofori-Atta was a finance minister who led the country at a time that it was very difficult across the world. And it was really very difficult. Naturally, he's taking upon himself all of that blame. We will kill the finance minister. We will do this to the finance minister. Almost every finance minister gets unpopular in these kinds of situations. So, but this Attorney General has been talking, and he has not said much about Ken Ofori-Atta. I have personally spoken to Ken Ofori-Atta about PDS. When we talk about PDS, and we describe PDS as a scandal, we describe PDS as an offense. PDS was piloted by the American thing that we do, Millennium Development MIDA. And it was a company that was to take over some of ECG's work, and the company was unable to provide a guarantee for the purpose, and the company was taken out. The company has sued in international arbitration, and the international arbitration has returned a verdict against PDS and in favor of those who made the decision to take PDS out. Yet, the propaganda against Ofori-Atta continues to mention PDS. Okay, next is National Cathedral. They mentioned National Cathedral. We have all seen what has happened with the National Cathedral. The Attorney General's recent comments on the National Cathedral is there for all to see. The OSP has preferred charges against Ken Ofori-Atta on SML. some contract that was awarded subsequent to that.
The OSP has 5 different cases that it is investigating Ofori-Atta on.
Yeah, I'm talking about the case.
His preferred charges only in one of the cases.
Yes, fair enough. What he's investigating,
and this also began before the new government.
Yes, that's what he said. Yes, so the OSP has preferred charges on SML. That's the only thing. The Attorney General has really not said anything. That Ofori-Atta, he hasn't told us whether he is also in pursuit of the SML matter or that he's in pursuit of some other matters.
He has told me,
yes,
here on Newsfile,
yes,
that he's pursuing other matters for which there are international entities and persons who have been brought into the subject. There are offshore stuff in respect of Ofori-Atta, and he tells me and my viewers that that is going to be a bigger issue than SML.
But he doesn't mention it.
No, he doesn't say what it is.
That is out of character for Dominic Ayine, because this is a Dominic Ayine who hosts press conferences and devolves everything. So if he told you that there's a case that he's investigating against the political foe, the biggest political foe, Ken Ofori-Atta, but he's unable to mention and tells us that he has international, this international, that, well, I don't know, because this is not Dominic Ayine's character. That will be out of character. And when people act out of character, we know what the literature people say. But coming back onto the point, so this is the Ken Ofori-Atta situation, and it has been politicized because we are in a new epoch of criminal justice system where everything is being announced. Sedinam Tamaklo, which has become a matter so important that the NDC propaganda machine had to even issue a statement or publish something that Sedinam Tamaklo is also being taken through the same Ofori-Atta process. As we sit here, it's not verifiable that there was any Sedinam Tamaklo matter similar to the Ofori-Atta process occasioned by this government. It's not verifiable. It may well turn out that the whole Sedinam Tamaklo matter was just propaganda, that nothing has happened.
The Ghana embassy in the US lied?
Well, the Ghana embassy in the US said something that you said the court didn't happen. You said the Ghana embassy said 21st. It's happening. We are here. It hasn't happened.
They told us.
You said this. The word you used was that there's been a blackout.
Yes.
Yes.
They've been blocked out from following the process.
Who has been blocked out?
That's what they told us.
You believe that? In America, the United States of America,
they have
the process
access.
Is going on.
They have access until I have the contrary. And I have to stick with what they say.
Well, fair enough. We have to believe public officials until we have something to the contrary. Anyway, so that is the new justice system that we have come into. The Sedinam Tamaklo trial was started. She asked for permission to leave, and she left, and she didn't return, and the matter ended. His lawyer, while Sedinam was away during the so-called trial in absentia, cross-examined the Attorney General's witnesses until they got to the point where the judge was able to give a ruling. And when he gave the judgment, it was against Sedinam Tamaklo. And if, as a society, we are concerned about corruption, you know better than all of us that a man is innocent until proven guilty in the Anglo-Saxon common law. A man is proven innocent. A man is innocent until he's proven guilty. We all know that. So between Sedinam Tamaklo, who has been convicted, and Ken Ofori-Atta, whose trial is yet to start for us to know where it ends. Ofori-Atta's trial may start and he has an opportunity to end at the submission of no case. Ofori-Atta's trial may start and Ofori-Atta may be convicted. It's all a may. We don't know. But for Sedinam Tamaklo, we know. These two people belong to two political parties. One person belongs to the ruling party. The other person belongs to the opposition party. When the MPP government was in power, they made very little noise about what had happened with Sedinam Tamaklo. I may only find out this morning that Agbesi Jakwasu was his lawyer. In Ofori-Atta's case, he's in America. The story is that someone may have snitched on him. So he's going out for a walk and he's grabbed by ISIS people because ISIS people needed a court order to enter into his premises. They didn't have that court.
You mean ICE, not ISIS?
Sorry. ICE people, they don't have a court order to enter into his premises. And then he's going on his walk, which is part of a recovery process from cancer, have been told. And people who have recovered from cancer are regularly told that they should go on walks to physically exercise. So he was going on a walk, he's grabbed by ICE and he's sent to a place. Now let's come back to why Ofori-Atta is not coming and we are holding demonstrations and all of that. I am happy with what the US lawyer said because it was always the truth, that the demonstrations going on may actually inure to Ofori-Atta's benefits. What's the Ofori-Atta story? He leaves Ghana. He has a letter from the Chief of Staff. He tells Chief of Staff that, Baba, I'm going away, but I'm available for anything. Chief of Staff says, thank you, you can go. He obtained permission from the government of the day because Ofori-Atta was relatively important to the transition. So they all dealt with him. So he's going away and he says, I'm not here, he's gone. Then he appoints lawyers to deal with the matter. His lawyer said that, oh, he's going to hospital. Which hospital? Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic submit everything. Then whilst it is known where he is, he's been told that whether you are doing Mayo Clinic or not, you have to come back to Ghana on this date. His lawyer said, we'll try. The date comes, he doesn't come. They said that he's still under medical whatever. Okay. Then, in those circumstances, he's put on Interpol red alert. In subsequent circumstances, Interpol find the reason, legal, political, sociological, whatever, to take his name off the red alert. He created news in Ghana. Why did Interpol find the reason to take his name off the red alert? Because in assessing the situation, you don't put somebody that you know where he is on red alert. So these circumstances then began to change a little bit.
The story, the alternative, is that Interpol did not take his name down.
What happened?
They did a reduction. Because he had made an application.
What is reduction?
Reduction is that he can only be seen by, it's limited. Viewing is limited. What certain people?
Viewing him. So Paul, what we are told is it's like a typical injunction application that you take to a court.
Yes.
Then a court said, oh, because I've seen this application, can we all hold on until I finish?
Yes.
So that doesn't mean that
his name is taken off.
Has that finished? Has that process finished? The process you addressed.
Well, now it looks like,
it's like a
other issues have
it's like a
But what it means is that Interpol thought that there's a case to look at for Ofori-Atta.
Which is a fair process.
Fair enough. So now when these things come up like that, the guy says, I'm coming. You're not coming. Oh, you're on red alert. Oh, charges have been preferred against you. And then all of these things are going on. It may constitute a way in which Ofori-Atta and his advisors may feel that, are we really safe in going back into this jurisdiction given all what is happening?
When you are told that all the time when you were being told that, oh, I'll come, he had started a process to become a citizen of that country so he doesn't come.
Yes, that is
concerned. Do you still believe that he actually wanted to return?
Yeah, but you see, Ofori-Atta doesn't have the power to decide that I won't come to Ghana. There are legal processes that can compel him to come to Ghana. He cannot decide.
Those processes are ongoing. Why are we worried about them?
Exactly.
Yeah, but nobody's worried. Those processes must go on. But the politicization of it, with a press conference and demonstrations and holding on to Ofori-Atta as if he's the one to provide the 21 billion that oral promised, out of which after 1 year we have gotten zero. Today the Attorney General says that Sammy Okudzeto at Blackwell's 21 billion may not have been 21 billion. That's what the Attorney General is telling us. This is a society and a government that comes into office running on the back of corruption, which has been the same case for many opposition parties in the Fourth Republic. They run on corruption, but this group of people wanted to demonstrate their commitment to anti-corruption, which was great.
I told you have been speaking for 16 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Or 17 so far, will you believe me?
I don't believe you, but I'm wrapping up because
it was heckled.
He was not heckled.
Give me 2 minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, go ahead. That's not heckling.
This is a way to take our attention from the commitment that was made for the $21 billion, not cedis, $21 billion. If Ghana has lost $21 billion to corruption, we are in serious trouble and we need a full commitment to anti-corruption to retrieve this. How much of the 21 billion is Ofori-Atta? And where is the rest of the 21 billion after 1 year for an Attorney General who holds press conferences that we are all, the legal society, the political society, is discussing whether this is the way to go?
The 21 billion, the OSP alone has 5 cases that it is looking for Kenneth Ofori-Atta to answer. Yes,
no, oral, I'm talking about oral and it's 21 billion.
All right. Oh, okay, yes.
Oral's 21 billion.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens Ayumensa, making home ownership simple and achievable for Ghanaians at home and abroad, starting from just 675,000 Ghana cedis. Situated within the serene hills of Ayi-Mensah Danfa, Rehoboth Havens offers breathtaking views of the Peduase Ebri Mountains. Here, we provide a peaceful environment meticulously designed for modern living. This is more than just a house, it's a lifestyle. Rehoboth Havens is a secure gated community featuring beautifully landscaped surroundings, a dedicated recreational center, unmatched comfort, safety, and peace of mind. For many Ghanaians living abroad, owning a property back home can feel like a distant dream. At Rehoboth Havens, we believe everyone deserves a place to call their own, a space for family, a lasting legacy, and a smart investment for the future. We offer spacious 2, 3, and 4-bedroom homes, move-in ready and designed for modern living. Don't wait. Secure your future today. Call us on 0553 751 933 or 0206 823 524 or 0244 764 499. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Rush, 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 young kids. Rush, 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 2 times a day. Rush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit. Happy smile.
Zoomlion Private Services Limited, your waste management expert. One of the most innovative aspects of our business is our commitment to adopting cutting-edge technologies and sustainable practices in the waste management industry. We have invested in modern waste collection trucks, digital payment systems. We have also implemented efficient waste segregation systems and also developed strategic partnerships with our various stakeholders in the waste management value chain. I can talk about our innovative approach that enables us to reduce waste disposal costs, also minimize our environmental impact, and provide our clients with seamless customer service experience. We are the waste management experts.
Next. Hey, Nadia Benson.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Friendly Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Come tum preko.
The festive season is here again, and your most preferred estate partner is giving you 25% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Bronya Asase promo, Estate Masters is offering this massive discount for outright purchases. This includes free indenture, free site plan, and a free site visit. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure a plot of land while it is still hot. Reach out to us using the numbers below or visit our website at www.estatemastersgh.com. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Distribution of votes since the
I want to start from where Martin ended with the Koko and Keten thing he just talked about, and saying that it is looking very promising. Any initiative that is aimed at putting people to work, I like it. But there's a big caution here. Remember SADA? Remember SADA guinea fowls? No, you remember that? I want to start from where Martin ended with the Koko and Keten thing he just talked about, and saying that it is looking very promising. Any initiative that is aimed at putting people to work, I like it. But there's a big caution here. Remember SADA? Remember SADA guinea fowls? No, you remember that? I want to start from where Martin ended with the Koko and Keten thing he just talked about, and saying that it is looking very promising. Any initiative that is aimed at putting people to work, I like it. But there's a big caution here. Remember SADA? Remember SADA guinea fowls? No, you remember that? I want to start from where Martin ended with the Koko and Keten thing he just talked about, and saying that it is.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show. It's 30 minutes past the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, and it's now 4 or 5 days before the new Patriotic Party will be choosing its presidential candidate for the 2028 election, coming quite early. It's the first time in the history of the Ghanaian electoral calendar that a party, one of the two big parties for the election, will be choosing their candidates. What will it be? It will be nearly 3 years before the vote is taking place, before the votes take place on 7 December 2028. Now, tonight we're going into the big stories. We have a statistician in the studio who will be joining us. He has performed some polls, and he'll be telling us what his polls are saying. There are two major polls that are coming up right now. Musa Dankwa, who has been speaking on Obi's Asempa program earlier today. Musa Dankwa says that from his polls, he's convinced, and he says nothing will change before Saturday, and that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is going to win the election on Saturday. There's also Dr. Evans Dua, who unfortunately couldn't join us tonight, but hopefully he will join us sometime before the Saturday D-Day. And Dr. Evans Dua has put up a research. Evans Dua says, out of his research, with all the data gathered, his conclusion is that Kennedy Ohene Japan will be winning by 52% of the votes. Saturday is not far away. there was a conversation on Asempa between Musa Dankwa and Obi, the host. And there was, of course, another conversation between El Bernard and Obi, the host, 24 hours apart. We'll show you the salient points from both interviews, and you will see where the scientific data is clashing with the prophetic unctioning. Who would prevail on Saturday? Before then, though, Parliament has been boiling up. Alexander Fenyo-Markin, the leader of the minority, has been speaking, and Alex Markin says that he's worried about a phenomenon that he describes as a thank you tour. Normally, when politicians complete elections, they go back to the people who elected them and they do what they call a thank you tour. Recently, the NPP, in spite of having been defeated, did a thank you tour. Until then, we knew that thank you tours usually goes for the people who won the battle. But thank you tours have now become common. The learned Chief Justice, the Justice Paul Bafuboni, had been seen on social media in photographs and videos this week where he was said to be visiting, and that's the word they use, visiting the Minister for Finance. The Lord Chief Justice is visiting the Minister for Finance. Then also, there was the Lord Chief Justice paid a courtesy call on the Bank of Ghana. And then, today, he was in Parliament. The minority in Parliament, led by Alex Markin, boycotted the event because they said they will not be part of what they believe is a very irregular Chief Justice's thank you tour. Yes, Alex Markin speaking to the press about this matter.
We have seen that my Lord Bafuboni and his management are all over at the various ministries, including Jubilee. Is he on a thank you tour? Is my Lord Bafuboni on a thank you tour, thanking the government for appointing him as a Chief Justice? And we hear today he is coming to Parliament. We, the minority, don't see him as a tolerant head of the judiciary, because members of the minority came under attack when we criticized the processes leading to his nomination. We have seen that my Lord Bafuboni and his management are all over at the various ministries, including Jubilee.
That was Alex Markin. And this is what he's referring to. Here's Justice Paul Bafuboni together with Kaisel Atuforsen, where the Lord Chief Justice visited the Ministry of Finance, and they are in a great warm handshake. All smiles, beautiful photograph. That is Justice Paul Bafuboni. Accompanied in the event is the learned Attorney General and Minister for Justice. That is the Honorable Dominic Ayeni, who is also a member of Parliament. Now, this is what happened. Here you go. Justice Bafuboni actually went into the office of the Finance Minister and sat with him. We're not sure what they were talking about. Also present was the Supreme Court judge who is touted to become the next Chief Justice in 2027, which will be next year, Scott Gabriel Poamang. Dr. Raymond Atuguba is also the Director of Legal Education within the General Legal Council context. He was also there, and so this is the entire team that went to see Kaisel Atuforsen, the Lord Chief Justice and his team, including the Attorney General, including the next senior-most Supreme Court judge. And they met with Kaisel Atuforsen and he spoke. So after that, I believe the Chief Justice then also went to Bank of Ghana or so. And after that, he's in Parliament. And Alex Markin says that's a thank you tour. Very interesting political connotation he gives to it. We'll see what our viewers think about it. Next, I'm coming to the stylish and ever dressy Deputy Attorney General. I'm worried about this matter, and it's about politics. You see, I get worried about politics when we do things that suggest that the general public will lose confidence in us. And Justice Sremsai here is a Deputy Attorney General. My Lord, Justice Sremsai, how are you? Now, when the old administration, Akufo-Addo's administration was in place, there was a lot of talk during the Kaisel Atuforsen trial about the way in which Godfrey Dame appears. Godfrey Dame at that time was the Attorney General. Mind you, Justice Sremsai is the Deputy Attorney General. He's the number 2 at the Attorney Generals. Godfrey Dame in those days was number 1. And there was a lot of conversation about how Godfrey Dame appeared in court. One of the things that was said against Godfrey Dame, to which many people felt was a reasonable criticism, was that he had a soldier, a military man with him all the time. The argument against Godfrey Dame was that he ought to have had a policeman. This is the Attorney General, the number 1, appointed Article 88. This is a Deputy Attorney General. Oh, my screen is gone. This is a Deputy Attorney General who is appointed actually under Article 79, as it were. Appointed under Article 79. The Attorney General is appointed under the combined effect of Article 78 and 88. The Deputy Attorney General is appointed under Article 79. Now, this is Deputy Attorney General, but the video that I'll be showing you shows that he has a plethora and a quartet of soldiers with him to go to court. The soldiers sit in a pickup, almost a quartet of soldiers following Justice Sremsai. Not that it's important, not that it's not important, but it is dangerous if the same group of people said that an Attorney General cannot have one soldier. He must have policeman. And then we flip it from 2024 to 2025, just 1 year gone. And then the Deputy Attorney General now has 4 soldiers with him going to court. Have a look at the video. This is Justice Sremsai. With him walking into the court. This is the most hypocritical commentary that the NDC should come back and respond to us. The Deputy Attorney General has 2 military men, 2 military women. He has a policeman there. There are 2 of them. Then he has a policeman. These are the 2 soldiers who walk with the Deputy Attorney General to court. The white pickup you saw in the background is the car that keeps the policemen who are protecting the Deputy Attorney General. Soldiers. The soldiers who are protecting the Deputy Attorney General. This is there. That's military police. You see them there. Here they are. 2 soldiers. 2 regular people of the Ghana Armed Forces. 2 women from the Ghana Armed Forces are protecting the deputy, not the Attorney General, but the Deputy Attorney General. This is Justice Sremsai, who was part of all the demonstrations. They sat on their high moral horse, together with all his friends at Blackwell and Co., shouted morality, shouted death to Akufo-Addo, shouted about economy, shouted about abuse of power. And here he is, grossly abusing the power that the people of Ghana have given him. He takes 2 of our soldiers and they should follow him to court. That's what he wants to do. Sremsai says 2 of our soldiers should follow him to court because he's so important. He's a Deputy Attorney General. He's that important to the system that 2 soldiers must follow him to court. When Godfrey Dame, Attorney General, takes 1 soldier, they complained about it. And they shouted to the people that the MPP is wasting your resource. Look at him. He has 2 soldiers, 2, not 1, 2 soldiers following Sremsai to go to court because the Deputy Attorney General is so important that 2 soldiers must follow him. Atuforsen is the one doing the magic. Do 2 soldiers follow Atuforsen because he has brought the dollar down? This is Sremsai, Deputy Attorney General. 2 soldiers must follow him to court. Otherwise, he won't go to court. This is the kind of abuse of power that happens to politicians. And when these things happen, people lose interest in the politics. They lose interest in anything politicians are saying. Next, after the people have lost interest in NDC and MPP, they go on the street. Sremsai is collapsing the democracy because here he is, causing people to lose interest in whatever politicians say, that you shouldn't trust politicians because they said that 1 soldier is not enough. Justice Sremsai, who is a deputy, has 2 soldiers who have to follow him to court. That is the story. That is how far we have come. This is the situation. And, well, come back to the studio. Let's wrap up on this one. And then we will go to the El Bernard battle. So this is the photograph. Here is Sremsai. Here is Justice Sremsai. This is a soldier man. This is Sremsai. He has this soldier man and another one. 2 of them must follow him to court. Otherwise, he won't go to court. 2 soldiers. 2, not 1. They must follow Sremsai, the Deputy Attorney General, to court. You saw the videos. Okay, send me your take on this one. If you think it's not abuse of power, send us a text. If you think it's abuse of power, let us know. Justice Sremsai has 2 soldiers with him going to court. Now, El Bernard and Musa Dankwa have been at each other's throats. I'll show you 2 videos, and then we'll analyze them. But before then, I like... okay, should I go straight to El Bernard? I think I was going to go to Fatih, but I think they have El Bernard there. Okay, so here's El Bernard. Prophet, not Otinene. So he was on Asempa Radio, and it was quite awkward. And so the interview went viral. The live broadcast had so many eyeballs never seen in any of the Asempa interviews. This was an interview that many people were interested in. We sent our people around at Accra in the afternoon, and it was being widely listened to. In Abossey-Okai, they were feeding on it. In Circle, they were feeding on it. Obi had become very popular that afternoon, beyond the measure that he gets every afternoon. This was a very good interview, and Obi conducted the interview very well. I like the way that he threw the very hard, punchy questions to El Bernard. Well, whether El Bernard performed well or not, the jury is out. You watch the interview and tell me what you think. So El Bernard was on. Now, El Bernard's appearance on radio had been triggered by Abeifa Kabu, who was on the same program, and Kabu had said or alleged that when you hear prophecies about politics, you should know that these prophecies about politics is always arranged. Kabu said that he had been part of a group of people in during the campaigns of 2014, 15, 12, where they will get some data from the polls and show it to the pastor, the prophet, and tell him to prophesy alongside the data results. And that is how they achieved it. And so when Kabu sees people prophesying these days, he doesn't take it serious. He knows that it's been arranged. The connotation is that the prophecies that El Bernard has rendered, which come to the conclusion that Kennedy Agyapong will be elected on Saturday, that Akabu says that those prophecies have been arranged. As we say, Saturday is not too far. But let's go back to the Asempa video and see what El Bernard told Obi about the prophecies that he has rendered.
Owin flag bearer na the American Obi win 2028. Ono nyame ya chewa.
In Sempio na macho book afa nipakura Obi win 2028 election. Na memory yanda mochwe nanka nyame adum na NDC for wakade date na wobukweku yiwoni ya na msoma beka ma
ono so awon so mo be win ono so nyame ya acho
mehu da
ba onyi 2028 mo be win in cho
nyame aka ni nyina
and on the catcher en
say I want to wonyim so otetewo
and the catcher in the 2028 hwana no win
ma ka cho already nti ma hye nkompi
yes
na say ehwe most of the income na ma hye na mama demonstrate na say tum ehwe azini ye ya ebo wonyipa kura oye president of
Ghana Japan oye president of Ghana 2020
I want America
na sama demonstration na wa sorry na dem not
I want America
onyo no ye KA na eyisu ki
on the KA9
on the 2028 Kennedy Japan will be
His Excellency Honorable His Excellency Kennedy Ohine Japan,
President of Ghana.
Yeah.
2029, 7th January.
Yes.
Prophet Bernard L. Bernard Nelson Eshen.
That is my name.
So that was Prophet El Bernard expressing confidence that whatever prophecy that through him God had rendered will eventually come to pass. But there is my friend, the pollster, Musa Dankwa, who says that over the last 7 years, he's conducted polls with a scientific manner, and the way he has conducted the polls, his polls have never failed. The results have been correct. For those of you who don't remember, his 2024 election polls prediction was close to the end outcome. And then also Akwetia by-election, his prediction was close to the end outcome. Does Musa Dankwa also arrange the polls? Well, his polls outcomes have shown to be correct. Musa Dankwa, appearing on the same program on Asempa Radio, decided to stake his claim and to stake his neck out and said he has done this thing for 7 years. He knows what he's talking about. At the end of the day, nothing will change. Mahamudu Bawumia would be elected as the NPP's presidential candidate for the 2028 election. Here is Musa Dankwa in Asempa studio.
Sir, because somebody who believes in miracles, no? Do you believe, sir, miracles can just maybe make nonsense of what you've done?
Obi.
On Saturday.
Unless
maybe
on that Saturday, God confuses people who were going to vote for me. That's a miracle, isn't it?
I think I'm going to confuse you.
Oh, yes.
And yes, I ain't see.
That's the only miracle that will happen. And I said, you see, they will not come and thumbprint.
Yeah.
And for God, someone in the miraculously change the thumbprint to a different position. The only thing that could happen, which is possibility, which is a miracle. That they wake up one day and
just on Saturday and that's
a miracle. That's a miracle.
Which is a possibility.
That's a possibility. That's the only miracle that can happen.
And yes, normally I'm quite ballot paper and twaba.
Nothing will change.
Nothing will change.
No. Obi, I have done this work long enough. When I'm not certain about data, I caution it.
Yeah.
The last time I cautioned the data was Ascend North.
Ascend North, yes.
And even that, when I was pushed, I said in the end, NDC will win the seat. But the numbers were looking very uncertain that I couldn't put my neck down. But when I was pushed, I said, knowing what I know,
NDC will win.
NDC will win the seat.
But for this poll, what track you over 5 months, Nadia, you are certain more than the word certain that it is Bawumia.
According to methodology,
yes,
99.9.
99.9. I saw it, and
so
that's quite rare.
So that's where we are. Who's going to prevail on Saturday? We cannot wait for the outcome, can you? It's going to be a big deal. Later tonight, we have a pollster who has also conducted very serious polls, and he's coming to show us what his poll outcome said. He's going to suggest to us, well, I'll tell you what is in the poll. When he comes, you'll hear what the poll says. We also have an interview with our intellectual property lawyer later on. Those of you interested in entertainment, the Kwesi Arthur story about how he signed a contract and he didn't get the benefits of the contract, etc., etc. We have an IP, intellectual property lawyer in the studio who will tell us more about that. Now, though, let's go to the text messages and see what people are saying as we prepare for the interview with the pollster on the touch screen. This is Good Evening Ghana and is live. Fatih is ready with a text message.
All right. Thank you, Paul. So coming from Junior Akbar Tamale, he says the fact of the matter is simple. We in the NPP don't need anybody to tell us that Dr. Bawumia is going to win this election. Bernard Danza says, good evening, Paul, and special regards to Prophet El Bernard. Read this scripture out to Ghanaians. Jeremiah 1 verse 12. Then the Lord said to me, you have seen, for I am watching over my word to fulfill it. Congratulations to Honorable Ken in advance. Atadise says, Prophet El Bernard's church will collapse because of this false prophecy. Inshaba says abuse of power from this government is serious. Wellington says no matter what will happen, Honorable Ken is coming like eagle to lead Ghana. May God give him long life and good health. Nexon Ishan says, Paul, the soldiers were 3 in the video. 2 ladies and a man plus 1 police officer, making a total of 4 security personnel. It's quite disturbing and hypocritical of these people in government. As for Serumsai and his cohorts, the least said about them, the better. Musa Shaibu says Dr. Bawumia stands today in Clarepool Station, not by chance, but by record. He is the most marketed, the most tested, and most experienced candidate in this race. While others resort to name-calling and manslaughter of character, Dr. Bawumia stays focused on ideas, solution, and the future of Ghana. Leadership is not noise, leadership is competence, and competence wins election. One touch, clear victory, votes Bawumia. And lastly, coming from Bismarck Ado, he says a Muslim can only lead Ghana if he is presented by NDC. Now back to you, Paul.
Well, thank you very much. Now, after the break, we're going to have a conversation with the pollster who has conducted polls, and he knows who is going to win the election on Saturday. He'll tell us how he knows who is going to win the election, and he also knows the percentage that people will be getting. He'll be on the touch screen to show us his data, where he got it from, what the delegates are telling him, what is animating the delegates' choice. Why are the delegates choosing one candidate over the other? And what's going to happen to the other candidates? What's Brian Achampong going to get? What is Kwabene Japan going to get? And what is Osei Aweduchum, the education avatar? What is he going to get? So after the break, we get into the mind of the statistician to help us prepare better for Saturday's big event. We'll be right back. This is Good Evening Ghana and it's live.
Dum, time aso. J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya mabesisia. Abozing. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji, Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral?
Say a Persori insecticide GB at a user. Co pharmacy in a shop biamu. Namum say a pharmacy supermarket and a shop ra. Na repedudu to a cotonwa. On for Royal Dutch and our Aerofield Trading. FE spray with Daimwa.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Sametra Sapapadia to a mammy mouthful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man swing, and a sense of Mama Hoto so a will bedroom.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Okay, there you go. So, Dr. Hayford Mensah Ayerakwa is with us. Doc, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, we're going to get into the data that you pulled out. How do you see the atmosphere going into Saturday? Just the social and political atmosphere.
It's getting quite, I must say, tensed. Mm-hmm. I happen to engage quite a number of these delegates. And I think delegates have, over the years, become very sensitive to the happenings around. And they know exactly what they want to do, but they also see it as an opportunity to get what they need to have. But at the end of the day, they will do what they think they have to do.
So the money does not change people's minds, does it?
Interestingly, the data suggests just a small fraction. As at last week, nearly 92% of delegates say their minds have been made up, but they are not going to now say that I want to follow candidate A or candidate B. They are playing it safe when it gets to dealing with the candidates and their representatives. They are playing it safe because they know that some candidates are beginning to profile delegates. And what they tell us, for example, is that some candidates are not targeting all 5 delegates at the polling station. So when they profile you and they realize that you belong, you are possibly somebody they can actually influence, then they rather focus on you than saying that they want to spend on everybody. To avoid that trap, they don't want to, when it comes to the candidates, they try to play with everybody. But we have had a way of engaging these people over the years. And so we set in quite a number of different questions to try and get the responses. And we're able to check whether or not there's that consistency or they're still playing tricks with us.
What has been happening in the Musa Dankwa polls has been that he showed a high percentage of undecided, undisclosed voters. Did you get that experience too?
In the past, we had some high levels of undecided, but in this most recent poll that we did...
Which month was it?
The last poll we are showing today, which we released today, started on the 8th of December and ended on the 23rd of January, which was just last week. And the undecided had dropped from about 14% to about 8%.
So about 8%?
Yes.
So just under 10% are still largely undecided.
Yes. And even with this population that say they are undecided, I have a strong conviction they just don't want to. It's not that they are not decided, they just don't only disclose.
So undisclosed more,
yes.
like undecided.
Yes.
Okay, permit me to invite you to the touch screen now and show us what you got in the data.
Right.
So viewers, Doc is joining me on the touch screen. Please come that way.
Yeah.
And so we have here, welcome to the presentation. We're going to do it nicely so you can get it. We have here APL final polls on MPP presidential primary. So the methodology, tell us about it.
Well, so APL, Africa Policy Lens. And so the methodology, which is very key, is at the heart of what we do. This is purely an APL-sponsored poll, and we've been doing a number of polls, and this is the final one we are releasing. So we decided that so in the past we've sampled different constituencies across regions, and so we try to see the regional dynamics and what is happening. For this one, we decided to look at the nation as one constituency. Ultimately, that's what matters. So of all the 276 constituencies that we have, every delegate was given an equal chance of being sampled for this very one, so that it is purely random.
So how many people do you speak to ultimately?
In total, 9,122.
Okay.
Over the period. And so to
drawn from how many constituencies?
276.
Okay.
All the 276.
Yeah. All right.
So we randomly pulled it from all the 276, the total delegates register. And what we do is that, yes, this is not a survey that we went to the field in person to engage them to say that, okay, face to face. But we at APO have set up a call center where we have 12 trained field assistants who actually place calls across the different.
And they tell delegates that they are posters polling the January 31 event.
So they tell posters, so when they call you, they let you know, we are calling you from Africa Policy Lens. We would like to engage you regarding the MPP primaries that is coming up. We have a few questions that we would like to engage you on. So we ask basic questions, but we are guided, and then we'll throw in the specific question that we want. It all has to do with the way you engage with the...
so what questions did you ask them?
Of course, what you see here are basically the demographics, and this is mimicking...
Female were 23% of your sample
Those who
size.
actually, yes. We had about 23% female. And if you see this, the general MPP register, and if it's not just the MPP delegates register, you see it pine out also another... female representation is always low.
So the delegates.
The delegates.
The female representation is low.
It's low.
In delegates' votes.
Yes. No, I mean among the people who are executives, qualified as executives. You know, these are polling station executives.
Yes. Polling station. They are the delegates.
They are the delegates. So what you find is that you can find a whole polling station and it's just one female, who is actually.
So of the group who are going to vote, 23% are female. Does it?
No.
You spoke to 23% of
23% of those we spoke to.
But what percentage are delegates are women? Do you know that?
I don't have that offhand.
But it will be small.
It's smaller.
Okay.
Yes.
It's smaller than 23%?
Yes, it's smaller than 23%.
Oh, I see. So it could be below 20%?
It could be 20. It could be somewhere around the 20% range.
Okay, in the age distribution, you have 18 to 24 years, 0.5.
Yeah.
So the delegates representation perhaps does not follow the national voter population representation.
No, don't forget, this group who are delegates at the moment, the register, they've been around for a while.
Yeah, it's true. That's correct.
And so,
but I'm just saying that the Electoral Commission register for 2024 showed about 78% of the voters between the age of 18 and 35.
That's correct.
If you are looking at the highest 38, and that is 36 to 45. That's the biggest bracket within the MPP delegates voters. So they are not that young and they are not too old.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Does that affect the way they look at things? Naturally, it would?
It does naturally affect the way, for the young people, you know where to find them. The younger you are, they are more inclined to engaging in a certain way. And again, if you look at this population, these really are the group that you find in the working population. More established people, if mostly settled in that age bracket. So that age bracket, they can easily make decisions that it's difficult to influence.
I see. Okay, let's move on. What else
Yeah.
did they find?
So, again, don't forget there are different categories of respondents or delegates that we have, but the majority is at the base, which is the polling station. And of the randomization that we did, nearly all the people we actually selected were in the polling station category.
There, so
and
that's
what happened?
That's the ground, the
very
basic
big
one.
thing.
Yeah.
And what happened was that there were other people we actually had sampled, but in contacting them, they declined to respond to you. So no, I'm not interested. I don't want to respond. And you have to respect their human and their basic right within the research ethics domain. And then we try to find out from each of the respondents which of the aspirants had actually visited their constituency. Because we also believe that it has an influence on whether you want to switch camp or follow a particular candidate based on your personal decision. And it turned out that 3 of the 5 candidates have actually, at the time of speaking to them, have actually, so if find Kennedy Agyapong, for example, had done about 98% of the respondents said he had actually visited their constituency, followed by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who said about almost 98, also saying that he had been there, and then Brian. Kwabena Agyapong has done...
That Dr. Bawumia had covered more ground than Brian in this campaign, is
yes.
that what it means?
Yes.
Okay.
At the time of... So don't forget...
So this is December.
This is December, so they were still contacting delegates. So it's possible that we will speak to somebody in December who, by the time we were speaking to him, a particular candidate might not have visited. But
by now he has.
By now, the person would have visited. So, but it just gives you an idea that these 3 have covered a lot more grounds relative to the other 2.
Absolutely. Let's move on.
And so, this, whether or not, when they visited the constituency, was the particular delegate we are speaking to, or at the time we are speaking, whether he or she was present at the event. And then we saw that nearly 92% actually said they were there and in person.
Okay.
And so
they heard the message.
They heard the message themselves.
All right.
Now, which of the aspirants' message was clear and convincing to the delegate? And here, it is not summoned to, because somebody could say that, oh, this guy's message was good to me. This also made sense to me. So if we don't interpret this chart as 100%.
Okay.
We put it at percent of cases. So if you put all the respondents who actually said Ohene Agyapong's message was convincing to them, they liked the message, he might have said something that settled with them. About 48.3% of the delegates said so. And then followed by Brian, but the majority indicated that they liked the message of Dr.
That
Bawumia.
was clearer.
But which areas did they cover overall that they were happy about? And this is very important, especially post the election. Party unity and reconciliation stood out. So even as much as all of this is going on, and we can attest to how much activity has been going on, especially on social media and traditional media. So delegates are concerned about the future of their party, unity beyond election, followed by support to the grassroots. Which of them actually is assuring them and giving them reasonable message for them to believe that indeed beyond whatever they are saying, they would pay attention to the famous Adidija, addressing the Adidija concept. So that is it. Then the next question we looked at was which of the candidates were you supporting before the visit? And then which of them have you decided to vote for after the visit? And this for me is the summary of everything. Now, if you look at Brian Agyapong, before the visits to the different delegates, about 3.14% of the delegates said they were supporting Brian Agyapong. But who are you prepared to vote for after the visit? Brian Agyapong has moved from 3.14 to 5.2. In other words, after his interaction with the delegates, he's been able to get a number of the delegates to believe and have decided to vote for him. Now, if you take Ken Ohene Agyapong, he was having about 27.74% who said they were supporting him. But after the visit from the different candidates, that number has actually dropped to 25.1%.
First from where?
27.7
to 25.
To 25.
After
about
the visit.
2 percentage points on average. And then that of Bawumia has actually increased from 54% to 61%.
Oh, that's impressive.
So what it means is that after the visit, a lot more people have become, have become satisfied or receptive to his message and are willing to now endorse him as their flag bearer. But this is a question you were asking me earlier. There were 14.3% who said before the visit they were undecided. But after the visit, they have actually decided, and that number has dropped from 14 to 8%.
Okay. So then what happened eventually?
No, eventually, so what this means, and given the fact that we actually put this across randomly, we can say based on this, that by the time EC is declaring all things being equal, holding all factors constant, because election is election, and anything can happen in the last minute. But holding all factors constant, we can confidently say that His Excellency Dr. Bawumia would be declared the winner of the MPP.
When we said, I'll ask you what's your margin of error, because you said holding all factors constant. Viewers, you heard the presentation by Doc. Let's see what people are asking Fatih, and then he can take their questions as we sit down.
Right.
Fatih, what are people saying? It's 8 minutes past the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. This is Good Evening Ghana. What are they saying?
Thank you, Paul. So, Yao Intimwa is a little bit worried. He says, what kind of research is this? It seems he's finding it difficult to explain. Junior Akbar says, no amount of intimidation can stop DMB from winning these elections. We are not ready to sell our party to another party. It's possible. Gastiman also says, Musa Dankwa is one of the credible pollsters we have currently, and I'm very confident Dr. Bawumia is truly winning. He's more scientific and not political prophecy. Even if unfortunately and God forbid it goes contrary, he's still the best pollster and we have at the moment. Some of the others are equally like the false prophets, which are predicting like Lotto forecasters. Hussein says a data without putting Dr. Bawumia ahead of contestants, it's not scientific. It's common knowledge that he's going to lead the party into 2028 general election. Any party woman or man knows this basic fact. Let's Bawumia win. George says this election will show us the difference between prophecy and scientific evidence. God bless you and your team. Back to you, Paul.
I got us some 2 more messages as we get ready for Doc to respond to some of the questions.
Yalfebi says the minority members of parliament have done the right thing for rescinding themselves from the Chief Justice. Thank you, Tor, in the visit of parliament. The minority was against the appointment and approval of the Chief Justice because as acting Chief Justice, he did not see it needful to empanel judges to hear former Chief Justice Tokoni's suit challenging her removal process and the report of Justice Poaman's committee. What Ghanaians expect from Chief Justice Bafuboni is to bring back the trust that Ghanaians have lost in the judiciary after removing the former Chief Justice, not thank you, Tor, in the name of visit. George Amalfo says when Dr. Bawumia wins, we will have Thanksgiving service in the Prophet's Church. We will go there and thank God for his faithfulness. Otrefo Kantinka also says Dr. Bawumia will win the flag bearer race comfortably. We must manage our disappointment maturely, avoid inflammatory language, respect the outcome of free and fair process, and unity as a party towards 2028. And lastly, coming from Ate Adisa, says Bawumia will win hands down and go ahead and win again to become the president. The way things are going, Bawumia will emerge president eventually. Oh.
All right, Doc, so let me ask you, what are the, if somebody says that, stake your claim, if Bawumia doesn't win, would it mean that your research was poor?
No.
Is there any possibility that he might not win, in spite of your data finding out that he will win?
Well, so I would always stick with the data. The data says, this is what the data is saying. Unless the delegates decide that at the last minute, something significant happens and they decide to change their mind. But even they change their mind, I do not think that it would significantly impact on the results.
I think the results as it is almost a fait accompli. It's going to be.
I am very confident about this.
By what percentage is Dr. Bawumia winning?
So per the data I just shared is 61%.
Oh, 61?
61.
And the other candidates are getting what?
The next person is getting, if I remember, 25%.
I see. So 61 and 25.
Yeah.
And then the rest follow.
The rest follow.
So supporters of Dr. Bawumia should jubilate?
I think no. For me, this is a clarion call that they might have done something that is informing this sort of endorsement. And so in the last few days, they need to put in a lot more effort to consolidate their gains. Because one of the points about polls is that when the polls come out, if you are winning, you need to consolidate your gain. If it is not going in your favor, it tells you that something is not going right and you need to change your strategy. So I'm sure that all the candidates that are in there will look at this data and ask themselves, what does this mean for our campaign and our last-minute strategy? So people might be at the table as we speak and strategizing what needs to be done and what needs to... In the past, people would reach out and say, can we have your data? And be able to make informed decisions. So I'm sure that this is one of those that should inform what the people do in the last few days.
30 minutes prior to at 10 o'clock. That's very impressive, Doc. So we'll keep you in mind, and I will call you back here on Tuesday if your predictions come to fruition on Saturday, and we'll know the results by then. Does your analysis give your analysis does not give a room for any second round voting as some?
No, not at all.
You think it's a straight victory for Mahamudu Bawumia? 61%.
Per the data, it's a straight victory.
61% as well.
No, yeah. And ideally, if we have a situation where it's quite close, neck to neck, then you know that should something significant happen, this could actually throw it into a second round. But as it is now, the gap is huge. And like I keep saying, someone once said that 24 hours is such a long time in any election. And so I encourage the different parties, especially the Bawumia camp, if they have to stick to these results, then it means that whatever they have been doing, they need to consolidate their gains. I know that the other candidates would also want to push their numbers up. So I'll be happy to see that this prediction, as we have, would come to pass, and it will be a feather in our cap.
Okay, I have a few text messages. Another one says, Dr. Bawumia will surely win this race, inshallah, because of his dedication to the MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo. Another one comes and says that your guest in the studio is talking the stuff for Kennedy. Yes, he says Bawumia is winning. If voters are thinking about unity and grassroots participation, that's surely Kennedy's vote. Okay. Another one says, I can confidently sign my death warrant that Bawumia will surely win this election come Saturday 2028. And yes, it will. He says yes, it will be so. Okay, all right. Good luck to that. All right, let's go and watch Atachia, one of the candidates that we spoke to. Okay, do you have Frimpong Boateng? Do we have a... Yes, okay. Let's watch Frimpong Boateng, and then we'll come back and watch Atachia whilst we prepare for the interview, the intellectual property interview. Those of you who like entertainment, as I said, if you know about the Kwesi Arthur story, we're going to be explaining everything to you here tonight on Good Evening Ghana. So stay tuned with us. We'll be right back. Here's Atachia weeks ago. I stood in front of this touchscreen last week after your interview with Bernard Avle on City, and I said that Professor Frimpong Boateng, they said that your son Jojo was in Galamsey and you didn't say anything about it. And you are talking about other people. Sorry, I'm sorry to Jojo because he's not done anything wrong. He's just your son. He's not a politician. We don't have to be talking about him, but it happens in politics. We are sorry about that. Apologies to Jojo. But I said that, is he a miner? Is Jojo a miner? Is he a mining engineer?
No, listen, Jojo, at the time, I came out and said that if you meet Jojo at any mining site, shoot him.
But they said he was doing Galamsey.
And I said, if you meet him at any Galamsey site, shoot him, kill him.
But we don't have Ghana, we're going to kill him.
Why?
You were the minister, you are in charge.
No, he wasn't. Jojo never did Galamsey. Let me tell you a story.
Yes.
Jojo, after university, did his national service at Anglo Gold Ashanti. And at the end of it, I know he told me that there were two things he wanted to do. to plant Jatropha on the degraded land.
What is Jatropha?
In Kranyebia.
Oh, it's a tree.
It's a tree,
okay.
A small tree. You use the seeds, the oil to prepare biodiesel. Remember, I was preparing biodiesel, and he was in charge. He was doing the biodiesel preparation himself. But that didn't go through because he was afraid that after planting the Jatropha on the degraded land, small-scale miners could go later on and then...
Where did he get the land from?
No, he wanted to use the degraded land at Anglo Gold Ashanti.
Well, where he worked, National
Where he
Service.
worked.
Okay. Why is he a miner? How did he end up in Anglo Gold?
He did his National Service there.
What was his background? What's his qualification?
No, he did administration with accounting option.
Oh, Legon?
No, Valley View University.
Oh, Valley View, okay. Admin with, so accounting kind of person.
Accounting kind of person.
Okay.
And then, after that, he came to me and said, he has seen that, look at Anglo Gold Ashanti, you saw that only foreign companies own large-scale mining companies in Ghana, only foreigners. And that he wanted to do a big large-scale mining, and I said, okay, go ahead. So he applied for concession. He was given 5 concessions, totaling about...
Which year was this?
Well, this was during Persa Mills' time.
Atta Mills, so 2009 to 2012.
Thereabouts. So, for example, and he got the concessions signed by Niosa, the Minister for Mines at the time.
Niosa Mills.
Niosa Mills.
He was the professor. He was a former bar president.
No, he was the Minister for...
Yes, he was the Minister for Lands. Yes, correct.
Yes. So,
but he was a bar president as well.
So, and these are his documents. So
these are Jojo's mining documents.
Yes,
is it Lands Commission, Minerals Commission, or which one?
This is Lands Commission, Minister of Lands, and then Lands Commission.
Okay.
And so he got a concession, 5 of them. Then he came home and I said, look, you have been given over 1,000 square kilometers. I don't think you can work on all this concession before 5 years. So give some away. So he gave 3 away and started working.
No, say that again. So when he was giving concession, you advised him that the concession is too big. He should return that. Did you give it to his friend, or who did he give it to?
No, give it back to Minerals Commission.
Or back to the state?
Yes, because you see, if we are given the concession, we have to work on the concession, do your reconnaissance studies, prospecting studies, and so on.
So he gave that.
Within a certain period. So I said, we cannot finish all these things within 2 years or so. So give the concessions back to the state. So he gave 3 concessions back to the state, remaining 2. And so he got his colleagues from British Guyana, from Canada, and from the US, and they started the reconnaissance studies. That means you go to the field with drilling machines, no big machines, nothing, no excavators, no big machines. Take samples, take the samples to the lab, and they analyze them. So he did that. Took them to a lab here called ELS Lab, presented the report to the Minerals Commission.
So he must have been working with a geologist?
Yes. His geologist was, he's passed away now.
Oh, he died?
Yes. The road minister, Makwata's brother.
Well, Makwata's brother was a geologist.
He was a geologist. So he was a geologist. And so when he gave out the 3, he couldn't work on the other 2 because there was a fight between Japikrom and Drobo. That was where the land was. So there was a case.
Did he pay for the concession?
Oh, yes.
He paid?
If you look at the file, the money that he paid and going through all these processes.
Because you say he just finished National Service, Anglo Gold. He had money?
Of course.
Okay, that's good. That's Dadaba, boy.
No, not Dadaba.
Prof, that's Dadaba. Very Dadaba.
No.
You finish university, you go to National Service and say, I want to have a concert. Oh, that's brutal Dadaba. He hasn't, it's fine, it's perfect.
No,
we all want that. We all like that.
There are others who did it, and I won't tell you.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, he paid for these concessions?
He paid for them.
Okay, all right.
Started working on them. And then there was this fight between Drobo and Japikrom. So he wrote to Minerals Commission that because of the curfew and the fight, he cannot work on the field. And so that was it. Suspended all operations till today.
Till today?
Yeah.
I don't understand. From Mills' time till today?
He has never been there because there's no peace in between Japikrom and Drobo.
Where his concession is?
Where his concession is.
But when you were minister, what was he not around the mining thing?
No.
In 2017?
No.
But people accused him, Solomon, something said that your property, your son is doing galamsey.
This is a very wicked.
So what has he been doing with his life, Jojo?
His life?
Yes, since that time, you say he's not doing the concession.
He's doing his business.
He's a businessman?
Yes.
Oh, this guy is lucky, man. He's doing business?
Yes.
Is he married?
Yes.
Oh, good.
He's got 2 kids, two beautiful children. One is 15.
I see. So
the
the point you are making is that your son Jojo, since say 2012, has not gone to a mining site to
That's
do
why
anything.
I'm saying that if you see Jojo at a mining site, digging with an excavator or anything, kill him.
So his concession is still with him? Is it still for him?
No, he has stopped.
Yeah, but the documents is still in his name.
The documents are all here.
Did anybody go and do galamsey on that land? Do you know?
How would he know? And he never went there. It's possible.
But he may not go there, but he can organize for people to go there.
No. He'll never do that. I mean, he has to be exemplary. This is what I told him. I mean, this is Frimpong Boateng. He's a Frimpong Boateng, and we do things properly. And I gave him instructions. Be exemplary in everything that you do.
But why was Solomon so sure?
Who is Solomon?
Some Solomon, who was part of the galamsey, the committee that you church. One guy, he accused you so many times.
I didn't have any Solomon.
I'm not at the executive level, but I think he was one of the boys.
I don't think so.
So these accusations of Jojo being galamsey, which was widely publicized, you never said that he doesn't go anywhere.
But why? I mean, I said it, but
nobody listened.
Nobody listened. Even you did it. You also accused him of that.
Yeah, I did. I did. That's what I'm telling you.
So where do you get the fuss from?
Because I was told by serious people that Frimpong Boateng's son is doing galamsey.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you remember I came to your house once and I asked you. He said no, it's not true.
Even when I was in Kolebu and burdening the administration block and doing things with the war and many things, people told me that my wife was a sand contractor. You know, you see, we are living in a very wicked and evil country. You know, they try to silence. This is intimidation, blackmail, and everything, just to keep you quiet. You know, but you know the people who are doing galamsey. They're everywhere. I mean, I don't have to go. But let me tell you today, let the world know. And I said it, that if you go to a site and they say this Jojo doing galamsey.
Okay, so were there any legal matters around it? Did anybody sue him?
Yes, no, nobody sued him. But then somebody, an MPP people and those associated with the MPP, reported him and me to.
You mean MPP, the Great Party?
Which one?
MPP, the Great Party.
No, forget about Great
When you say MPP, you have to add the Great Party.
No, I'm not going to add.
You won't do that?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Some members of the National Patriotic Party.
New Patriotic Party. New, not National Prof. New Patriotic Party.
New Patriotic Party.
Yes.
New is the new. Is it still new?
Ajete said new. So it's new. Janice Selby said new, so it's new. J. Kufuor said new. Akufo-Addo said new. So it's a new patriotic party. Fair enough. So some people in that party.
Don't mention names to confuse people and, you know, yes.
Oh, but the official name is a new patriotic party.
I know, but don't bring Kufuor and Akufo-Addo into this conversation, you know.
No, I'm saying that they all call it new patriotic party. So it is new. It's not national patriotic. Okay, but some people from the NPP reported your son.
To Shah.
Oh, Commission for Human Rights.
Commission for Human Rights.
It's because we all heard it. So it's nice, making sense.
And so for almost 4 years.
Which year did they make their complaint?
They were. So these are
anyway, you go on. So for 4 years, what happened?
For 4 years, we've been investigating. So I couldn't come out to say anything. That's why when people were saying Frimpong Boateng has done this, I couldn't come out because you are under investigation.
Were you also under investigation? Yes. You and him?
Yes.
Oh, the allegation was that you and him are doing
that. Yes.
That's what we were all told.
And this is false. And Paul, as a lawyer and a very seasoned journalist, you should not have fallen into that trap. To talk about this.
Well, I would like to read the Shrad report.
Yeah, this is
what did they say?
Nothing.
All these pages is nothing?
117 pages.
It's all nothing?
That he hasn't committed any crime.
Oh, he was exonerated?
Exonerated.
By the Shrad report?
Yes.
Who signed the Shrad report? Was it Whittal?
The commissioner himself.
What's his name?
What's his name? Yeah, Whittal. Joseph Whittal, commissioner.
Which year was it? The signing?
This is
the date of the signing.
So this is...
Whittal is still there. He's been there since 2017.
So go talk to him.
Yeah, I will read this report thoroughly.
He was sent by one Arnold Agbodo, your complainant.
He's a complainant.
Yes.
Arnold
Agbodo.
Oh, is he a member of the NPP?
And we didn't know him, but later he called Jojo.
He himself?
Yes. And told him those who told him to take him to Shrad.
Oh, he called Jojo and said, some people said I should take you to Shrad.
Yes.
You and your father to Shrad.
Yes.
Am I one of the people? Did he mention my name?
I won't tell you. I won't tell you.
Sorry, viewers. I'm just enjoying the company of the great heart surgeon, Professor Frimpong. They mentioned some names. My name was not in it, right?
I will not say it.
Okay, was Gabi Ochedaku's name in it?
I will not say it.
Was Abu Jinapo's name in it?
Please.
Oh, I'm just mentioning the squad to see whether, you know.
Okay, they mentioned the squad.
And so that's what I'm asking you. Was my name in it? You said no. Gabi Ochedaku, you said no. Abu Jinapo, you said no. So there is not us. It's not us.
No.
So it was another group of people.
Yes.
So Shrad exonerated.
Yes.
Who was Jojo's lawyer? Your lawyers were who? Okay, you can't remember. What were their lawyers? You remember at all?
No, I don't.
So you went through the process. You went for the hearings.
Yes. I went for it several times. You know.
Cross-examination.
All the investigation.
Was the media covering it?
No, media.
You didn't tell the media?
No. I mean, media doesn't cover investigations by.
Oh, they do. I've covered Shrad.
I don't know.
Yeah, I covered the Senate. You can go. It's a public hearing. You can be there.
Yeah.
I see. So Jojo was exonerated.
How many times do you want me to repeat
this? I'm not. Okay, all right.
So you can see how wicked and evil this
From what you are saying, yes, it's very bad then.
Very bad.
Pulled out one of the interesting conversations we had with Frimpong Boateng around the campaign, fortunately for us, and deliberately. So this is not about an endorsement of any candidate. It just talks about his son, and it was quite popular on social media. So we decided to share it with you. Whilst our lawyer, intellectual property lawyer, takes a seat to explain to us this very bizarre conversation of Ghanaian musician Kwesi Arthur. Kwesi Arthur was on a record label. He's left the record label. He wants to do his own thing. He's looking for photographs of his own image. Record label says, no, it's not for you. It's for us. You pay us for us to give you your photograph. It's your photograph, but you pay us for us to do it. That is technical law. Why is it so? Welcome, our lawyer. Lawyer, good evening. Please tell us your name again.
Good evening, Paul. My name is Emmanuel Dute.
Okay. So give us the legal position. First of all, what was the contractual obligation of Kwesi Arthur during the time he signed on to the record label? Who is the record label? Is it local? Is it international? And what do they do?
The record label is a local record label.
Is it a PA2s?
Known as Ground Up Charlie.
Ground Up Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, who owns it?
Glenn Boateng.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Glenn Boateng is the one who owns it.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes.
What do record labels do, by the way?
Record labels basically act as investment companies. They invest in the career of musical artists, and they invest in the promotion, the marketing, the distribution, and the monetizing of the assets of these artists so that they can also recoup from their investment and get returns on their investment.
So they do an initial investment all the time?
Absolutely.
They start up with money?
Yes.
To do this, to do that, to buy you this, to buy you that, to buy you that?
Yes.
And to fly you to this concert and all of that?
Yes.
So they are managing you?
They are managing you, yeah. For want of a better word.
What is the obligation between the artist and the label, or the company there? What do you call it? The label company?
Yes, Ground Up.
Yeah.
So basically, the artist, as the talent, makes himself available as and when to engage in the recording of the music and whatever the label really expects of the artist. Now, the label would also provide the financial resources for the production of this music in the form of sound recording, the production, marketing, the distribution, and also the monetization of that particular music so that they can also make money and make profits of it. So the artist is basically supposed to present himself or make himself available during studio recordings, go for interviews that are being hosted or that are being produced or financed by the label so that they can gain such publicity for their own musical career in that regard.
Okay, so in the case of Kwesi Arthur, how many songs did he do under this record label? Do you know?
I wouldn't know the exact number of songs, but he did quite a number of songs with the label.
And when they sign the contract, does it have an expiry date? Does it have a termination clause?
It does. Every contract actually has a duration or a term. So there's an expiry date for the contract. And afterwards, there's also some termination clauses in the contract where any of the parties could evoke if any of the preconditions for terminating the contract actually comes up. I mean, any of the parties could evoke them.
Okay, so and at some point in this story, Kwesi Arthur left the record label.
Yes, at
officially.
Some point in time.
He wasn't dismissed. He terminated.
Yes, he terminated.
So the termination was at his instance.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then what happened?
When he terminated, I think subsequently he decided to come up with a new project. And in the course of coming up with a new project, he sought to promote the project. So he had an agreement with an entity that monetizes music known as Even. And he attached some footages that were produced while he was under the label of Ground Up.
Footage means videos.
It could be videos or pictures.
Okay.
For promotional activities of the particular project.
So maybe he took a photograph with the Independence Square background, for instance, and he was jumping up as they do these days. So the camera takes him up, they do a drone shot of him. So he does a photo shoot around the Independence Arc, wearing different clothes kind of thing.
Yes.
And this product belongs to who?
To the label, because the label produced those footages. The label financed or provided the funds for the production of those footages. So it's not just about you being in your room or anywhere to take a picture. It's not about image rights per se. The dispute is centered on using specific footages that were produced by the label while he was under the label for his new project or to promote his new project.
Has he already tried to use it, or he's asked them to give him those photos, and that's what brought about this legal tussle?
So according to the lawyer for the label, they noticed that he tried to use it. And so they sent a correspondence via an email to him to desist from the further usage of it and from the unauthorized exploitation of those assets. And so I think the entity that monetizes his assets, which is Even, reached out to the label and also reached out to Kwesi Arthur to inform him that this is what the label is seeking to do. They are seeking to contest the further usage of these footages, and that is why these issues came up. So at the moment, Kwesi Arthur made a publication on his Instagram, I think on the 22nd of January 2026, indicating that the label claimed that they own his image and his likeness, and as a result of that, for him to be able to use his own image and likeness, he needs to pay a sum of $150,000 to them before he can get a clearance to use them.
How are you going to explain this to normal people? I mean, this very so technical law. Even for educated Ghanaians, a person's own image, my own photograph. You tell me that my photograph belongs to you because you are the record label owner, and you can use that photograph, but I cannot use it. Is it a sort of oversight from Kwesi Arthur's lawyers looking in detail at the contract that he signed with the record label? Is that where the problem is, or all record label contracts are like that?
To answer this question, Paul, I need to make a distinction between what constitutes image and what constitutes likeness. Image.
Second one is what? Image or likeness?
Likeness.
Likeness, okay.
Image is basically, in law, the visual representation of a person. And so it takes into consideration the photograph, the video recording of the person, and sometimes even AI-generated images of the person in this current dispensation. Whereas likeness refers to anything about the person that makes the person recognizable. And so under a typical artist label agreement, there is a clause, a typical clause, which is a default clause termed as grant of rights. And under that clause, what it stipulates is that the artist agrees to grant the rights to the label for the label to use his image and his likeness to produce some form of works known as commissioned works for the promotion of their own activity in the quest to monetize the assets that the artists have collaborated to produce with the label. And so under normal circumstances, because the label is the one that has paid or made financial resources available for the production of these footages or this image or these videos for the purposes of monetizing or commercializing the asset, it belongs to the label. So I think what happened was that, and this is what I would just indicate to most artists out there, that there is actually the necessity, it is very expedient for most artists to involve lawyers to review the contracts extensively, because there are different kinds of label agreements. And I think there are some clauses that most often than not, these artists may term as unfair, but most often than not, they do not contest the unfavorable clauses up until probably the music has gone viral and they've made a lot of streams out of it. That is when they come back to actually indicate that these clauses are unfair. But under normal circumstances, business is business. The label would stick to the terms of the contract strictly, and at the end of the day, assert ownership over these particular assets that they have produced.
Fatih, what are people saying on the social media? Let's try and understand this as we wrap up on this part of the conversation. What are people saying? Because Fatih sound, yes, okay. So, lawyer, the question is, what constitutes a breach? I'm guessing that it will have to be gleaned from the termination clauses in the contract. But what if somebody's asking what constitutes a breach? What do you tell the person?
Yes, well, basically, like you just stated, it has to be gleaned from the contract itself, the express wording of the contract. And most often than not, one of the primary conditions for terminating a contract under an artist and label contract is if royalties are not paid to the artist within a particular period of time. And so the artist can invoke that particular termination clause as a basis to terminate the contract. There are also instances whereby if the label does not release the album or the song at a particular duration, because the contract would provide the circumstances or the duration or the instances under which the label should release a particular song for the purposes of monetizing or commercializing that song in order to attract streams. If the label does not do so, the artist can also rely on such provisions to terminate the contract as such.
That's interesting. Fatih, already now tell us some more. What are people saying?
All right. Also coming from Douglas, he says, I like how Paul is able to source brilliant young lawyers. This Emmanuel guy clearly knows his stuff. Isaac Mann has an opinion. He says a contract is a contract, and once you sign it, you are bound by its terms. If Kwesi Arthur was dissatisfied, the more prudent approach would have been to engage his management privately and seek a peaceful exit or renegotiation, rather than taking the matter to the public. Publicly escalating the issue has only complicated what could have been resolved behind closed doors. And lastly, coming from Dennis, he says, in a situation like Kwesi Arthur's, where a label played a major developmental role, how does the law balance fairness to the label with the artist, creative, and economic freedom?
Okay, what's your final advice, lawyer, as we wrap up on this segment? What's the final advice?
I would basically advise artists to involve lawyers, not just because I am a lawyer, but the music business is quite technical, basically because it's in tandem with intellectual property law. And there are a lot of nuances, associated with it. So lawyers must be involved.
Are we having these days, as part of the legal practice, people with a full intellectual property practice? That's the only thing they do. The way we have commercial practice, are we getting there where we have intellectual property practice?
Yes, we are.
So you would advocate for intellectual property courts?
Yes.
You would like the Chief Justice to create courts for intellectual property?
I would like to appeal someday that the Chief Justice should set up a specific court for intellectual property disputes, because there's a new area of legal practice that is really coming up. And I think along the line, concerning the development of the nation, the creative arts are going to be much included in the process. We see it in other countries, in other developed countries such as the United States, where intellectual property is very huge. And so once there is the involvement of a lot of persons in that space, there is the necessity for a specialized court in that regard to be set up for disputes to be settled in that regard.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's 20 minutes to top of our 10 o'clock. Do we still have a break or we're good? We don't have a break. Okay. One of our famous interviews that we held here was that one with lawyer Atachian. My producers have selected parts of it for us to have a look at it. Here's Atachian speaking to us earlier about the MPP challenge for January 31. Somebody tells you that this bad record of the last 8 years that you say was perhaps the most outstanding, notable reason for the MPP's defeat is still in the minds of Ghanaians, and it might not be washed away by 2028. For that reason, the MPP should choose a candidate who was not part of that bad record. Mahamudu Bawumia was a vice president and therefore an integral part of this poor record. And so people will tell you, we don't want those who were part of the record. We want somebody who was outside that one.
The first argument which we should look at, that let's start from ground zero, if we go by what you are saying, understand? The so-called bad record, you see, I'm telling you that there's evidential support that it was not because of Bawumia. I want to stress that. And people should not say, oh, Bawumia was in charge of the economy. I've heard J. June arguments that he was in charge of the economy. And then I flip it. When the 90 or so MPs wanted to kick out my good friend Foriata from office because they believe that he's mismanaged the economy, you understand? That is the clearest indication as to who was responsible for the economy. There's no dispute about it. We never had a situation where the 90 plus MPs were saying that let's pass a vote of no confidence in Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the vice president. And then when they take the budget to the parliament, the budget is brought in the name of the president of the day, and it's the finance minister who goes through it, or anybody of his choice, like majority leader, one of the days read the budget. So please.
But if somebody tells you, Atacha, that it was Mahamudu Bawumia who told the general public that he had sorted out the exchange rate problem in 2017, locked up the rise of the dollar, and handed over the keys to the IGP. He told Ghanaians that. In addition, Mahamudu Bawumia is the only vice president who has attended the presentation of every single budget except 2024. He's thrown himself in as a big part of the NPP's economic renaissance credentials. So he's the NPP's economic renaissance candidate.
Paul.
And he had achieved some significant success in 2018, 2019, 2020. The improvement of the economy was attributed to Mahamudu Bawumia's ideas. This digitalization that comes across, this is Mahamudu Bawumia's idea. We've all said that. Gold for oil. Till now, we're still saying, and the NDC had admitted that they are benefiting from Mahamudu Bawumia's idea. So this was not a pedestrian part of the Akufo-Addo economic roundtable. This was a key actor in it. If we are saying that the economic situation, including the DEP, is part of the MPP's defeat, surely Mahamudu Bawumia cannot excuse himself from that process. But there are others who can say, I wasn't part of it.
Let me be very, very, very upfront with you and some of the people who believe that, oh, if we succeed in blaming Bawumia for the economic woes of Ghana because he was a vice president, then will become significant. And so this is the Asing song, They do not have any presidential significance unless they keep saying this all the time. And lower Bawumia because he was in charge of the economy. He was not in charge of the economy. Let me tell you, the space that Akufo-Addo gave him, he performed.
Which space was this?
Well, all that you want to talk about, whether or not we should go digital, whether we should have the address system, whether we should have the drones, and the rest of them. But if Akufo-Addo, didn't give him the opportunity to look at whether going to the bonds market, is the way to run a good economy, and he gave it to his cousin, who went to the bond market a lot, and even that was not enough, and would tap domestic funds of individuals and the rest of it. How do you blame Bawumia for it? When we were talking about the Renaissance, you could see that he used to come to Parliament and then try to aid the finance minister in what he was doing. When they were reading the budget, he stopped. Because now the finance minister wanted to do what they want to do. So you could see people compare Akufo-Addo's first term in government, and then when it became wayward, that look, the one who understands the economy the most has been sidelined, and Ken was doing what he wanted to do. The result is what we are seeing. And
so Dr. Bawumia was sidelined.
Oh, please. Who doesn't know this?
By whom?
By the president and his cousin, of course. What did you see?
By Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta.
In the running of the economy. He was not in charge at all.
How do you know this?
Well, at least I could see what happened when I was in the cabinet. And I could see also what happened when I was outside the cabinet. I'm not here to watch our dirty in public, but show one record that, Bawumia was the one who was trying to overhaul the exchange rate and he failed. Do you know what was happening at that time?
Gold for oil was to overhaul the exchange rate, but we ended at $14 per dollar. Now the NDC is on 10.
Do you know whether somebody wanted to that the system should operate full throttle, or it was like, if it's coming from Bawumia, let's not glorify it? Do you understand what is happening?
Are you suggesting that there was some undermining of the gold for oil policy?
Oh, goodness me. But how much money was released from the Bank of Ghana that we should buy gold when Bawumia was vice president? Let's do statistics and you see that do not say a man should be pregnant. It's a cruel argument. When he hasn't gotten the wherewithal, a man has no womb to be pregnant.
What's the point?
The point I'm making is that there is no evidence that huge largesse of resources were given to Bawumia to run the economy and you blew it. There is no...
Nobody's saying that. Are people saying that?
But what is it that you are talking about?
They are talking about he being the chairman of the economic management team.
What economic management
team? And that
team?
Is expected to lead the economic renaissance.
Was there an economic management team that was trying to, drive the economy and direct Ken?
Dr. Bawumia is the one who introduced...
No, if it was so, the MPs have eyes to see. They say, look, this bad manager of the economy, Bawumia should go. What did they say?
Bawumia cannot go on the MPs by the law.
Resign.
No, well, okay, they could have called for his resignation. Yeah, they could have called for his resignation. In fact, but they were calling for the dismissal of Ken, not his resignation.
Well, look at even the NDC MPs. They want the censure.
Yes.
Why? Who was responsible for the economy and who has to be censured?
It was Dr. Bawumia who gave the general public the list of the very fantastic actors at the economic management team. Jan Bafo, Alan Chemate. It was Dr. Bawumia who said.
Find out from them whether it was in name or it was in function and who was actually in charge. You see,
why didn't we hear all of these things?
Because he's a decent man. He will not wash the dirty linen of the government in public. As some people that if you pinch them, they will say some unprintable things. And do not punish a decent man and convert it to cowardice. I'm the one who is a macho. We want somebody who will speak out. Speak out what? Is it everything that you speak out? If he was cool and had the shock absorbers, so we have the common will for the sake of Akufo-Addo's government, not having an explosion from within, we should give him credit that we have a very solid man, tried and tested, resilient man, a man who can suffer under pain is a strong man, not the one when a little pain is around and he's shouting to the rooftops. There's a quality man. We shouldn't get this in for anybody and go and play lottery with people that now NDC is going to find all the canon fodder they've created in videos to come and play it over. NDC is not going to do any serious election when some people are elected by, MPP. You should bear that in mind.
You sound very convincing on Mahamudu Bawumia's disposition, his loyalty to the MPP, his loyalty to the Akufo-Addo government in terms of taking what you describe as some very heavy punches. And things that could even have affected his own credibility, he swallowed it up just for the sake of the party and the sake of the many.
And the nation. Yes. You remember, you had a very interesting scenario between Aka and Rawlings. You understand? Some insiders were even talking about if they were not careful, they were going to have blows. So why do you believe Ghanaians should not reward a decent man?
Did he get into the danger of Rawlings and Aka?
Oh, beyond measure.
What are you saying? Rawlings and Aka was about fisticuffs.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Did anything happen around Mahamudu Bawumia when he was vice president?
Oh, a lot of things happened.
Fisticuffs?
Oh, no, it never happened because he had the temperament to be the vice president. He was called to help. If his help was not needed, it wouldn't mean that go and sit in Peace FM and begin to blurt it out that there will be a showdown. A showdown between
you mean Dr. Bawumia had the diplomacy to stomach difficulties?
Oh, my goodness.
That's the point you're making.
Oh, and he has it more than anybody I've seen in the race.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's no dispute about it. The kind of, issues he's been confronted with and how he stood tall.
Mm-hmm.
And nevertheless, in the midst of all the problems we went through, it was not a zero-rated presidential candidate and garnered 41.7. I think arithmetic alone is common sense to dawn on everybody that let's repeat him, let's work together hard, and then if we should add 9 percentage points to what he got, we will cross the 50+1, and the next president will be him.
That was Atacha with that explosive conversation. Let's go back to Fatih as we set to wrap up today. Fatih, what are people saying about the interview?
All right. So, as this says, if Atacha says Bawumia is not responsible for the economy, then why did he set questions for Amisata and also claim victory when the city appreciates and said he arrested the city and gave the key to RGP? Padiba says Atacha is spewing the truth. Afoyebo says, Doctor, you see how painful it is when people lie against you. You sit there and talk bad about Bawumia without any evidence. Master Planner Jr. from Kentampa says, majority of the scientific polls and religious prophecies are going for Dr. Bawumia. Majority of the delegates are going for Dr. Bawumia, and also majority of the votes will go for Dr. Bawumia on 31st January 2026. Bawumia will surely lead the NPP. Dennis says, I believe the election is going to be a runoff. Safri just says, I think the posters want NPP to be in opposition. Alidi Zachary says, let's not underestimate the possibility of a rerun this coming Saturday, as no one could get their 50+1 votes. And lastly, coming from Eli Obama, he says, I firmly believe that Musa Dankwa is the sole credible poster in Ghana. His impressive track record in recent election is a testament to his proficiency. His prediction of a 57% win for Dr. Bawumia is the only credible prognosis that Ghanaians are eagerly anticipating. Nevertheless, my own research as a student of politics suggests that Dr. Bawumia's maximum potential win will be 62% and his minimum will be 57%. Congratulations to the end. Now back to you, Paul.
All right, that's it for our production. All eyes set on Saturday, and Thursday will be our final production before the Saturday big event. Let's watch these two videos from Bernard Nelson Eshen and Musa Dankwa as we wrap up. After the videos, we'll roll the montage. Thanks for staying with us again tonight. We'll be back on Thursday with a very, very, very historically laden and sufficiently explosive conversation. It will be 2 days to go to the last day. Thanks.
Do you believe, sir, because somebody who believes in miracles, no? Do you believe, sir, miracles can just maybe make nonsense of what you've done?
Obi.
On Saturday.
Unless
maybe
on that Saturday, God confuses people who were going to the Bawumia. That's a miracle, isn't it?
I think I'm going to confuse you.
Oh, yes.
And yes, I ain't see.
That's the only miracle that will happen. And I said, you see, they will not come and thumbprint and for God somewhere in the to miraculously change the thumbprint to a different position. The only thing that could happen, which is possibility, which is a miracle, that they wake up one day and Bawumia
just on Saturday and on that's
a miracle. That's a miracle.
Which is a possibility.
That's a possibility. That's the only miracle that can happen.
And yes, I normally I'm quite ballot paper and twaba.
Nothing will change.
Nothing will change.
No. Obi, I have done this work long enough. When I'm not certain about data, I caution it.
Yeah.
The last time I cautioned the data was Asen
North, yes.
And even that, when I was pushed, I said in the end, NDC will win the seat. But the numbers were looking very uncertain that I couldn't put my neck down on it. But when I was pushed, I said, knowing what I know, and
this will win.
And this will win the seat.
But for this poll, what track you over 5 months, you are certain more than the word certain that it is Bawumia.
According to methodology,
yes,
99.9.
99.9. I saw it, and
so
that's quite rare.
That's
sure,
the confidence level.
Sure. Now, can Owin flag bearer now? The Americano. Obewin 2028. Ono nyame ya chewa.
In Sempio, na macho book afa nipakura obewin 2028 election. Na memory and the motion nanka nyame adum na NDC for wakade date na wobekwu yiwoni ya na msoma beka ma
ono so awon so mo be win ono so nyame ya chewa
me hu da
but only 2028 mo be win in chewa
nyame aka ni nyina
and all the catcher in
say I want to wonyim so otetewo
and the catcher in the 2028 one no win
ma ka cho already nti ma hye nkompi
yes
na se ehwe most of the nkomhye na ma hye na mama demonstrate na se tum ehwe azini ye ya ebo wonyipa kura oye president of Ghana
Japan oye president of Ghana 2020
I want America
na sama demonstration na wa sorry na dem not
I want America
ono no ye KA na eyisu ki
on the K9
on the 2028 Kennedy Japan will be
His Excellency Honorable His Excellency Kennedy Ohene Japan,
President of Ghana.
Yeah.
2029, 7th January.
Yes.
Prophet Bernard L. Bernard Nelson Eshen.
That is my name.